Food played a very large part in the way that I comforted my children. My ex-husband did not allow me to give them ice cream or cookies or go to fast food places, but I would sneak it to them so they could be happy.
I doubled in weight. It got up to over 200 pounds by the time I was 12. But as I gained more weight, my dad started to get more and more upset with me because of it. He tried to stop me and Carlton's weight gain, but it didn't stop us from eating how we wanted. And by the time I was 13, I was over 350 pounds. And Carlton was 5 or 6 and around 200.
When I was around 10, I think that's when it got to its worst with my dad. So as a family, it was at a point where we couldn't take it anymore. So my mom took us and we ran.
I felt very relieved when finally I was able to escape.
Being away from my dad was such a relief to all of us.
Instead of it being somber, everyone was happy about it. And I remember being allowed to eat as many desserts as I wanted, and I would just take advantage of that, and I would eat, and my mom wouldn't be crying, and my sister would be smiling, eating too, so it was a peaceful time. By the time I was 11, I was over 300 pounds, and it was a massive problem. Kids were teasing me. My mother had to constantly try to scramble and find new uniforms. And I ended up getting suspended for leaving the school after my lunch break and going to get food from somewhere else.
So it got to be a really difficult time, and it was lonely too, because Chantel was gone.
You know, when I graduated high school, I was around 350 or 360. So I was getting big, but I could still get around and do things, and I had really applied myself in school. So I ended up, going to college.
I felt alone.
I didn't have my sister, and with how I felt, I just couldn't stop eating because my appetite never stopped then. So I kept gaining a lot, and by the time I was 15, I was well over 400 pounds. And it got to a point there where I was so big, it was hard for me to do anything. So I dropped out of school and decided to get my GED, but kept gaining, and by the time I got my GED when I was 18, I was almost 500 pounds.
And the dreams I had for the future were being crushed under my weight.
Unfortunately, college didn't go as I had hoped. At 20, my weight started getting really bad that I had to stop going classes because I couldn't get up the hill because I had reached around 450 then. And that led to me having to drop out. And that was pretty hard for me because I felt like I was giving up on my future. So all I was doing then was sitting around my apartment eating. And that's how my life was until I met Michael. My friends had convinced me to go out one night, and he was a friend of a friend who went with us. But at first, I didn't pay any attention to him. I hadn't had a serious relationship with my life because I didn't want to end up like my mom and my dad. But as I got to know Michael, he was different than most guys. And we started going out.
I believe she was the one the first time I saw her. We clicked right there. So it wasn't much of her size that I was worrying about. It was more of who she was personally. We just fell in love again.
So within a year of dating, Michael asked me to marry him, and I told him yes. And getting ready for my wedding was the only time in my life I lost any weight. But it didn't last as long as I had hoped. Because less than a year after we got married, I got pregnant with my first child and gained a lot during that pregnancy. I would eat like 2 or 3 pizzas a day for 9 months straight. That's why I gained so much weight. So by the time I had Michael Jr. when I was 23, I put back on almost 100 pounds and was just under 500 pounds then. But 6 months after I had Michael Jr., I got pregnant with my second child. And by the time I had my daughter Royal, when I was 25, I was around 540. And the cycle continued with my pregnancy with Treasure. And when I had her when I was 27, I was close to 600, and that's when I started to lose my mobility too. When I was 29, me, Michael, and the kids had to move back home with my mom so she could help take care of me. And Carlton had made the same decision to move back with our mom because of how big he was getting too.
That got to a point where I could hardly do anything anymore. So I had to move back home with my mom.
And in this room, I have stayed
The only thing I was happy about with the situation and moving back was that I was with my sister again. And now, we don't even really see each other since she stays on her floor and I'm on mine. I don't go out and do anything or see anyone except online. I actually have been talking to someone online for the past year. Her name is Monica, but I've never been able to even meet her because I can't go out. And I've been scared to ask her to come here and see me like this. So I feel like I'm missing life completely, and it's all because of food.
I'm gonna need y'all to start giving me the stuff from up there so we can sit it on the bed. Yes, we need that. Okay, you got it? All right, be careful. Me and Carlton have decided to try and get help from Dr. Now. And we're hoping that he'll take us on his patients and let us do his weight loss program. But we know if he does that, we're gonna have to be in Houston a lot. So we talked it all over as a family and decided if we're gonna really try to do this, we just have to be all in. And we need to move to Houston.
This trip will be rough, to say the least, on my body, and I'm expecting to be in pain and sore, but it's the only chance we have to live and to reverse the damage we've made to our bodies. So no matter what it takes or how scary it's going to be, this is just something that me and Chantel have to do if we want better lives. But there is one thing in all this that I am happy and excited about. I was messaging Monica and telling her I'm doing this move and leaving Ohio, and that I'm sad we have never been able to meet because I think I have a lot of feelings for her. And she told me that she does too, and she said she didn't want to lose me. But as we talked more, she told me she wants to go with me to Houston and help me do this. And that made my heart skip a beat. With all of us hoping to leave today, Monica's coming over with her stuff, so we can meet for the first time and then go with me to Houston. But she was supposed to already be here. And the more I think about this, the more I get honestly pessimistic about how our first meeting is going to be. And so this could be devastating to me because I think I have fallen in love with her, talking online with her. So if this doesn't go well, it's going to be hard for me to take, especially on top of the stress of this whole move and going to Houston.
Hey! Come here. I was so scared. I was so worried you was not going to come. Love you. Not letting you go. It's okay. Okay, you can sit down. I'm on this for you. Have a seat. I was so worried.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're here. Are we gonna be happy? It's gonna be okay finally.
Yeah. I'm very happy. I've been waiting to see him for so long, and when I finally walked in the door and saw him there, I was pretty nervous, but I'm also really excited and happy. His weight doesn't bother me. I want to be with him.
I'm so happy right now. It's been over a year that we've been together without actually being together. And meeting Monica for the first time today couldn't have gone better. It's just a fantastic feeling to finally be able to hold her. And having a person I love with me in my life to do this with makes a huge difference for me. So I feel like this just kind of affirms that this move and this whole change